Chosen ones, could it be that the magic inside you was never meant to be awakened? Could it be that your power, your light, your energy was meant to remain dormant for a reason unknown even to the stars? What if the universe, in all its mystery and majesty, placed something within you not to be used, but to be preserved? These are not easy questions. These are not comforting thoughts, but they are necessary, because today we will dive into a possibility so radical, so haunting, that even the most awakened souls have tried to avoid its whisper. What if your magic was a test, not a tool? What if the sheer force pulsing inside of you was never meant to be used in this world, not because it is bad, but because it is too pure, too sacred for it? Before we go further, I want you to stay with me until the end of this message. Something powerful is unraveling as you hear these words, and I ask you, from the depth of your heart, to write your warmest wishes and 77 in the comments, not just as a gesture, but as a signal to the universe that you are ready, that your energy is alive, and that your presence matters in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This is how wishes move. This is how we remind the stars that we remember. Now, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive deeper. Now let us go deeper. There are many among you who have felt it since childhood. The strange pull in your chest when you stared into the sky. The unspoken knowledge that you were different, not in a way that made you better than others, but in a way that made you quietly separate. You could walk through the world, smile, laugh, play the roles life gave you, but still, something immense, something ancient, slept inside you, and it slept so peacefully until it didn't. Some of you have already awakened pieces of that magic. You've tasted the edge of your own power, through dreams, through visions, through the unexplainable knowing that strikes like lightning and vanishes like smoke. But after those moments, a silence, a confusion, a fear. You ask yourself, why do I feel more lost after touching the light? Why do I feel like I've seen something I wasn't supposed to? Chosen ones, the answer may be this. You have touched a part of yourself that was meant to be remembered, but not fully released. Not yet. The power within you is not a tool for war, for fame, or for bending reality to your will. It is a sacred frequency that vibrates in tune with a higher order. A vibration that, if awakened at the wrong time, can fracture everything. There are beings in this universe, some human, some not, who spend their existence trying to awaken what should remain asleep. They believe that if they can activate all their potential, they will become gods among mortals. But they forget. Gods are not made through power. They are shaped through restraint. The most powerful among us are not those who use their energy at every turn, but those who know when to hold it still, like a blade not drawn, like a song not sung. So, what if your silence is not failure? What if your delay is not punishment? What if your quiet is divine strategy? The magic inside you is old, older than this world, older than time. And like all ancient things, it remembers pain. It remembers betrayal. It remembers being used. Perhaps that is why your soul chose to bury it so deeply, to protect you from yourself, to protect others from what they cannot understand. Some of you may now ask, if I'm not meant to awaken it, then why do I feel it so strongly? Because feeling is not the same as using. Feeling is remembering. Feeling is aligning. Feeling is preparation. The thunder knows it is thunder even when it has not yet roared. The sea knows it is infinite even when it is still. Do not rush your rising, chosen one. What is inside you is not a tool to impress. It is not a trick for applause. It is a cosmic instrument. and it will only play its full song when the time is right. Not when you want it, but when you are ready. And readiness is not always visible. It is internal. It is a humility forged in waiting. It is courage born in silence. It is knowing that the very fact you have this power does not mean you must always use it. In truth, the more sacred the gift, the more dangerous its misuse. Many have called themselves awakened, simply because they have accessed hidden energies. But what they do not see is the echo that returns to them when they wield what was never meant to be wielded without sacred purpose. For every light you shine recklessly, there is a darkness that follows. For every force you summon without wisdom, there is a price. You are not here to play with magic. You are here to become it. But becoming is a process, and sometimes becoming means being still, being patient, being observant, watching how the universe moves, not to control it, but to understand your place within it. You are chosen not just because of your power, but because of your heart. Your soul was trusted with a frequency that could shift dimensions, and that trust came with conditions: silence before sound, waiting before action, discernment before desire. Think of the ancient seers, the true ones. They did not shout their visions from mountaintops. They waited. They whispered. They watched for signs. And only when the stars aligned, only when the time was called forth by the universe itself, did they move. That is how sacred power behaves. It waits for the door that only destiny can open. And what if that is your door too? What if all the frustration you feel, all the pain of not yet, is simply the ache of a power being restrained by love? Chosen one, sit with this truth. Not every locked door is a prison. Some are sanctuaries. Some are temples protecting what the world is not yet worthy to see. You carry a temple within you, and while others chase after every key they can find, desperate to unlock themselves by force, you are being asked to wait, to let your temple open from the inside at the divine moment. This is not a punishment. It is a protection. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. The kind of wisdom that only ancient souls remember. And you are one of them. That is why the silence inside you is not empty. It is sacred space, the pause before a sacred unveiling. There is a danger in this world, a deep and growing hunger, where many confuse awakening with achievement. They want to be seen. They want to be powerful. They want results now. They believe that awakening their inner magic will fix everything. But magic is not a solution. It is a responsibility, one that requires spiritual maturity. Because if you unlock something too early, before your soul is ready to carry its weight, it can crush you. It can corrupt you. It can lead you into illusions that look like light, but taste like poison. There are timelines, destinies, and soul contracts beyond human understanding. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where the divine placed you. And sometimes, the reason your magic hasn't fully awakened is because the world is not ready, not because you aren't. The awakening of one chosen one does not just affect them, it shifts the axis of entire realities. That's why the moment must be perfect. So what do you do in the waiting? You listen, you observe, you protect your energy like sacred fire. You allow your spirit to evolve through trust, not control, because that's what this journey is teaching you. Trust in something far bigger than your desire. It's teaching you that real power waits. Real power whispers before it roars. You are being tempered like steel in fire, not broken, not forgotten, but made indestructible. The delay is the forging. The confusion is the shaping. The doubts are the sharpening. And when the time comes, When the divine finally says now, you will awaken not as a beginner, but as a force no darkness can touch. Some of you are sensing it, even now. The trembling inside your bones, the heat behind your eyes, the dreams that feel like warnings or messages. It is beginning. But still, it is not time to act. It is time to align, to harmonize every layer of your being with divine timing, to become not just a vessel of magic, but a keeper of it. And maybe that's the deeper truth. Your purpose is not just to awaken your magic. It is to guard it, to protect its purity from this noisy world, to be one of the few who remembers that power is not for show. It is for service. It is for the moment when someone else's life depends on you, not being impulsive, but being prepared. Can you hold your fire in the dark, even when others scream for light? Can you wait for divine command, even when the world begs you to rush? Can you walk in silence while others chase echoes? Because your magic is not sleeping. It is listening. It is watching. It is learning through you. Every moment you choose stillness over spectacle, it takes root more deeply inside you. Every day you hold back from performing, from pleasing, from proving, your magic becomes more whole, more true, more eternal. And there are forces watching you, not to judge, but to see. Will you betray your gift for temporary glory, or will you honor it in obscurity, knowing that the unseen work is often the most divine? Not everyone is meant to awaken in this lifetime. Some are meant to remember, to protect, and to pass the flame to the next cycle. And some, very few, are asked to carry their magic like a seed, buried, quiet, growing slowly beneath the skin of time, until one day, in a life far ahead, or a breath yet to come, it blooms. That bloom may not look like lightning. It may not come with thunder or applause. It may arrive in the silent transformation of another soul you've touched without even realizing it. Because true magic often moves like roots, deep, hidden, but holding everything together. This is your call to faith, chosen one. Faith that your path is sacred even if it is invisible. Faith that what you hold is holy, even if it is unused. Faith that sometimes not awakening is the most powerful form of awakening there is. There are those among you who have seen signs, undeniable, unshakable glimpses of what you are capable of. Maybe it was a dream so vivid you woke up crying. Maybe it was a moment where time felt like it bent around you. Maybe you said something you didn't understand, and it came true. Maybe you felt a pull toward a person, a place, or a decision you couldn't explain, and later realized it saved you. These are not accidents. These are not tricks of the mind. These are echoes of the power inside you, stirring, reaching out, not to be unleashed, but to remind you that it is still there, that it has not been lost, that it is waiting. And while the world shouts, "Now, now, now," your soul whispers, "Wait." You are not weak because you wait. You are not afraid because you hesitate. You are wise because you listen. And that wisdom is your real magic, the kind that doesn't need light shows or validation to exist. It is the kind of magic that is eternal, the kind that bends universes with a breath, not with noise. Have you ever felt a storm rise inside you, then chose peace instead? That was your magic. Have you ever held someone in silence while their world fell apart, and somehow they felt whole again? That was your magic. Have you ever turned away from a fight, not because you couldn't win, but because you knew you didn't need to prove yourself? That was your magic. You've been using it all along, but not how others expect, and not how you imagined. Because real magic is not always about doing. Sometimes it is about being. being a still point in a chaotic world, being a protector of something no one else can see, being the soul that knows when to rise and when to remain rooted. This world teaches you to act fast, to reveal everything, to chase success. But your soul is playing a longer game, one rooted in legacy, not applause. Do you feel the weight of that? The frustration, the loneliness, the quiet ache of knowing you're more, but not being allowed to show it. That ache is holy. That pressure is sacred. It is forming you into something the world doesn't even have a name for yet. And perhaps that's why the magic inside you was never meant to be awakened. At least, not in the way you think. Because the way you define awakening is too small for what you truly are. You are not here to flash power like lightning. You are here to anchor it like mountains. You are not here to impress. You are here to imprint, permanently, invisibly, eternally. There are thousands of people walking the earth right now, calling themselves awakened. But they are tired, scattered, addicted to validation, burning out like candles with too many wicks lit. They mistake visibility for purpose. But you, chosen one, are being shown another path, the path of endurance, of deep power, of eternal roots. Your silence is your strength. Your invisibility is your armor. Your stillness is your shield. The longer you wait, the more potent your power becomes. The more you surrender, the more the universe prepares the world to receive you. Because if you were to awaken now, fully, without divine timing, the world wouldn't know what to do with you. They would either worship you falsely or try to destroy what they don't understand. And your soul knows this. That is why it has hidden itself, even from you, to protect its true mission. Can you trust that mission? Can you let go of the need to be seen, heard, acknowledged? Can you find peace in being a sacred mystery, even to yourself? Because here's the deeper truth. You are not just holding magic. You are the magic. And that means awakening doesn't come through action. It comes through alignment. When your breath, your being, your frequency harmonizes with the divine blueprint that has been unfolding since before you were born. Then, and only then, will the true awakening happen. Not as an explosion, but as a merging, a remembering, a return. This isn't the kind of magic that appears in movies. This is soul architecture. This is energy that rebuilds realities. And to carry that kind of frequency, your spirit must first be stripped of ego, of impulse, of impatience. That is what is happening now. That is why it hurts. That is why you feel like you're being emptied. Because only in emptiness can true fullness enter. You are being prepared, not punished. You are being purified, not passed over. You are being called to something higher than immediate awakening. You are being invited to become a keeper of cosmic rhythm, a guardian of divine timing, a witness to the sacred silence before the symphony. That is why you must not rush. That is why you must not force. That is why your magic must remain veiled, for now. But hear this, when the time comes, when the stars align and your soul gives permission, what rises from within you will not just change your life. It will bend timelines, lift others into their purpose, and remind this broken world what real light feels like. Until then, be patient. There is a myth that says when a soul is powerful, it awakens early, quickly, dramatically, unmistakably. But what if the opposite is true? What if the most ancient, most dangerous, most sacred magic lies dormant the longest, not because it is sleeping, but because it is sacred beyond measure? You see, some of the strongest spirits wear the softest faces. They walk quietly through life, invisible even to themselves, until something stirs deep within them. Not an event, not a trigger, but a frequency, a silent signal from the divine that says, now. Until that moment, their magic hides, buried under layers of ordinary, waiting for the soil of the world to be ready for its bloom. And that is who you are. This is why you have often felt out of sync. Not behind, not broken, just different. Like the world moves too fast and speaks too loudly, while something ancient within you waits for a moment that hasn't arrived yet. This is not laziness. It is calibration. You are being aligned with a moment in the timeline that has not yet arrived. And once it does, your entire being will click into place like a forgotten piece of the divine machine. But until then, you are being tested not in power, but in patience. This is the spiritual weight of becoming. You are not just being asked to believe, you are being asked to embody, to hold the tension between knowing and not knowing, to walk through the fire of delay without losing your light, to stand at the edge of your potential and choose not to jump until the stars say leap. It takes far more strength to wait for the right moment than to seize the wrong one. Your magic, chosen one, is not passive. It is contained. It is held with divine precision, because it is not meant to serve only you. It is meant to transform the world around you. And so, you are being asked to cultivate silence, stillness, surrender, to become a living temple for something that cannot be rushed. Think of how the universe hides its most sacred secrets. The stars are born in darkness. Diamonds are made under pressure. Trees grow in silence. You too are being shaped by an invisible process. The fact that you can't always feel it doesn't mean it isn't working. In fact, the most powerful transformations happen in the unseen. You may feel like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, your energy is being restructured. Your soul is syncing with a divine pulse far beyond the mind's understanding. Your path is not being delayed. It is being made holy. Still, the world around you won't understand this. They will try to pull you into movement, into performance, into premature exposure. They will say, if you have power, why don't you use it? If you're awakened, why don't you show it? But they don't realize the cost of awakening without preparation. Without divine timing, power becomes poison. Without spiritual maturity, magic becomes manipulation. Without sacred alignment, even light can burn. That's why your silence is sacred. That's why your restraint is power. You are not hiding. You are protecting. You are not afraid. You are honoring. You are not passive. You are preserving. The pressure you feel, it's not a call to act. It's a call to align. The restlessness in your spirit, it's not impatience. It's preparation. The ache inside you, that's your soul stretching to hold what is coming. And what is coming cannot be rushed. You were never meant to awaken like the others. You are not a candle. They burn fast and fade. You are a sun, and suns rise only once. But when they do, they light the entire sky. So do not compare your journey to others. Do not measure your awakening by their timelines. Do not let their noise drown out your knowing. You are being summoned to something deeper than display. You are being shaped for something greater than applause. You are being chosen not just to carry light, but to become it. And when the time comes, your light will not need introduction. It will not need validation. It will not need permission. It will simply rise, and everything will change. What if the delay wasn't a denial, but a design? What if, before you were born, your soul made a sacred agreement, a soul contract, to withhold your power until the precise moment when it could serve something much greater than your desires? This is not just about your awakening. This is about the awakening of the earth, about energetic thresholds, about cosmic alignment, about an ancient harmony that requires every note, every soul, to play their part in perfect time. You, chosen one, are not early. You are not late. You are being tuned like a sacred instrument. And when you are ready to play, your sound will shift the entire symphony. But to get there, your magic had to be hidden, even from you. Because if you had awakened before your soul was ready to hold its full voltage, it could have destroyed parts of you that weren't yet healed. The power inside you is not soft. It is not safe. It is wildfire. It is holy electricity. It is energy that bends timelines and unearths ancient truths. And so, your soul chose to wait, not because it doubted you, but because it loved you too much to let you burn yourself before you knew what the fire was for. That is the level of intelligence guiding your path. That is the depth of trust your soul had in the process. You see, the world has taught you that power is something you use, but the divine teaches that power is something you become. It isn't about showing magic. It's about embodying sacred presence. It's about being a vessel for something greater than the self. And that kind of embodiment only comes when the ego dies and the soul remembers why it came. Have you ever felt like your life doesn't belong to just you? Like your choices ripple into unseen places? Like your suffering is not random but meaningful? That's because you are not just a person. You are a portal. Through you, healing enters bloodlines. Through you, ancestral wounds are closed. Through you, divine codes are reactivated, and forgotten frequencies are restored. This is why the magic inside you couldn't be awakened by force. Because your role is too important, your presence is too powerful, and your timing is too holy. You are part of a wave of souls that agreed to hold back, to hide, to stay unseen, to remain silent, not because you were less, but because you were more ancient, more powerful, more connected to the original light. And when that kind of energy awakens too soon, it disrupts the field. But when it awakens at the right time, it transforms it. So if you're feeling restless, if you're feeling lost, if you're wondering whether you've missed your chance, know this: you are not lost. You are being kept. You are not forgotten. You are being held. You are not late. You are being timed with the divine. The doubt you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is the gravity of your calling pressing down on your spirit, reminding you that something monumental is near, that something sacred is being aligned, that something ancient is preparing to return through you. And when that return comes, it won't look how you expect. It won't be a loud explosion. It will be a quiet knowing, a shift in the wind, a voice in your spirit that says, now. And when it comes, you will not need to rehearse. You will not need to ask for confirmation. You will simply know, the same way stars know when to rise and seeds know when to bloom. But until that moment, do not confuse stillness with stagnation. Do not confuse patience with punishment. Do not confuse hiddenness with insignificance. You are being veiled, not erased, protected, not rejected, prepared, not punished. Because when the veil lifts and the divine says, go, the world will see what it was never ready to see before. They will not understand how you remained so calm in the storm. They will not understand how you walked through darkness and still glowed. They will not understand how you knew things you were never taught. But your soul will know. It has always known. Because your power was never meant to be awakened for applause. It was meant to be awakened for alignment. Not to entertain the world, but to restore it. Not to elevate your image, but but to anchor a higher reality. You are not just waking up, you are fulfilling a prophecy. And when it's time, you will not rise alone. You will rise with every soul you are connected to, every ancestor who whispered over your birth, every guide who has walked beside you in silence, every light worker who has been holding the line while the world slept. Together, you will rise, not as noise, but as signal, not as spectacle, but as sacred design. And what you carry will no longer be hidden, because it was never gone. It was just waiting, inside you, all along. Chosen one you've always known. Maybe not in words, maybe not in concepts you could explain, but in your bones, in your dreams, in the silent moments between thought. You felt it, a strange familiarity with the divine, a recognition of something ancient living behind your eyes, a longing that never leaves. That wasn't imagination, that was memory. The memory of what you were before this life. The memory of what you came here to do. The memory of the vow you made beyond the veil, when time and space meant nothing and only purpose remained. You didn't come here to be seen. You came here to see. You didn't come here to chase power. You came here to remember that you are power. And for that remembering to take root, your magic had to be hidden. It had to be protected from distortion, distraction, dilution. The world would have consumed it, twisted it, used it before you were ready. But the divine refused, so it placed it deep inside you, under pain, under confusion, under delay, not to punish you, but to protect the treasure. And now, the seal is thinning, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Your spirit has matured. Your inner world has shifted. You've walked through darkness and chosen not to become it. You've carried burdens that weren't yours and still kept your heart soft. You've endured doubt and disconnection, but still whispered hope to your future. These are not small things. These are the signs of readiness. And now, your soul is starting to whisper what it never could before. It's time. Time to release the belief that you're waiting on something outside of you. Time to stop searching for signs that were planted inside you from the beginning. Time to stop doubting the very thing the divine trusted you with when it gave you breath. You are the sign. You are the message. You are the miracle that the timeline has been waiting for. And yet, even now, the voice of doubt may return. It will whisper, "Who do you think you are to carry this?" And your soul will answer, not with ego, but with eternity. I am the one who was chosen before I was born. I am the one who said yes before I knew the cost. I am the one who waited in silence so I could rise in truth. Because rising in truth is not loud. It's not a performance. It is a quiet, relentless return to what has always been real. And here is what's real. You were never meant to awaken like everyone else. You were never meant to rush. You were never meant to follow the path already traveled. You were meant to remember. Remember what it feels like to walk with divinity in your bones. Remember what it means to breathe life into forgotten places. Remember how to hold light that terrifies the dark. Your presence is not accidental. Your life is not random. Your dreams are not delusions. They are divine assignments, encoded into your very cells. So if the world feels heavier now, it's because your time is nearing. If your inner world feels like it's unraveling, it's because your old self can no longer contain the truth of who you are. If your outer world is falling apart, it's because your true world is being built beneath the ruins. The collapse is not your ending. It's your reintroduction. And when the unveiling begins, when your light steps forward unafraid, you will not be the same. You will look at your hands and feel galaxies. You will speak and the air will shift. You will move and destiny will follow. Because you are not just one person. You are a convergence point of everything sacred that came before you and everything possible that comes after. And from this point on, your steps are no longer ordinary. They are activation codes. Everywhere you go, you will awaken others. Not by teaching, not by preaching, but by being, by simply existing in your truth. That is your greatest magic. And that chosen one is why it had to be hidden. Because now that you've found it, nothing will ever be the same again. Let the world feel your return, not as an echo, but as a roar. Your time is not coming. Your time is now. Chosen one, what if the reason the magic inside you took so long to rise is because it was never meant to serve this version of the world? Think about it. This world, the one of illusion, of false authorities, of systems designed to drain your soul, was never built to support your kind of power. It was never structured to allow beings like you to operate freely. Your energy is too pure. Your insight is too disruptive. Your truth is too ancient. And so, this world made sure to keep you asleep, not out of hate, but out of fear. Because if someone like you awakened at full strength, the illusion would begin to crack. The matrix would tremble. The lies would falter. And the world as we know it would have to change. But perhaps that's exactly why you came. Not to adapt to the world, but to reimagine it. Not to blend in, but to transmute everything you touch. And that kind of mission doesn't begin with noise. It begins in silence. It begins in long nights of the soul where no one sees your tears. It begins in lifetimes of spiritual forgetting, followed by one moment of overwhelming remembering. And now, that moment is approaching. But there's something you must understand before it arrives. This isn't just about you awakening. It's about what happens when you stay awake. Awakening is not an event. It is a lifetime of choices. It is a commitment to truth, even when truth is inconvenient. It is a refusal to shrink, even when your light makes others uncomfortable. It is the courage to hold power with love and not with ego. And this courage must be cultivated every day, because even now, the old world will try to pull you back. It will offer you comfort in exchange for your truth. It will tempt you with approval in exchange for your essence. It will say, "Be like us," when your soul is screaming, "Be who you came here to be." Do not fall for the voice of the old system. You did not come here to fit in. You came here to rewire the grid, to speak words that ripple through dimensions, to hold frequency that softens walls, to live a life that others didn't even believe was possible. And yes, that journey will cost you things. It will cost you shallow friendships, fragile identities, hollow ambitions. But what it gives you in return is beyond measure. It gives you the feeling of standing in your full truth and not needing anyone's permission. It gives you alignment, not just with purpose, but with the pulse of the universe. It gives you peace, not the kind that comes from escape, but the kind that comes from embodiment. And in that peace, your magic will rise, not as a weapon, not as a spectacle, but as a light so steady, so sacred, that nothing can touch it. That's when you'll realize the magic inside you was never late. It was waiting for the world to shift enough to hold it. It was waiting for enough hearts to open. It was waiting for the frequencies to align. It was waiting for you to remember that you are not alone, because you never were. Others like you are waking too, all over the world. The veils are lifting. The silent ones are beginning to speak. The wounded ones are turning into healers. The outcasts are remembering. They are leaders of a new kind of realm. And as your light connects with theirs, a new world begins to form. Not outside of you, but within. A world where the magic was never dangerous, only misunderstood. A world where the delay wasn't betrayal, but divine architecture. A world where your existence is not only valid, it's vital. And in this world, you don't ask permission to shine. You radiate, because it is who you are. You don't try to awaken anymore. You live awake. You don't wonder if you're worthy. You embody your worth by walking as if heaven itself entrusted you with this mission, because it did. So breathe deeply now, chosen one. Let go of the question, was I meant to awaken? And instead, embrace the truth. You were meant to remember, so you could remake everything. And now, that time is not just near, it is here. Chosen one. Do you feel it? Not just in your mind, not just in your heart, but deeper, underneath everything, under the fears, under the noise, under the conditioning. There's something ancient rising again. And it doesn't need explanation. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't even need belief. It just is. It is the original you. The you before time. The you before identity. The you before forgetting. And now, this ancient part of you is stirring. It is no longer willing to be silenced by society's small expectations. No longer willing to be boxed by logic. No longer willing to wait for external validation. It wants to lead. But here's the twist. It won't lead like the world expects. It will lead in whispers, not roars. It will lead in presence, not performance. It will lead through being, not doing. Because true power isn't about what you achieve. It's about what you remember. And here's what you're remembering now. You were never meant to awaken in the light. You were meant to awaken through the dark. Through betrayal, so you would remember loyalty to yourself. Through abandonment, so you would remember that your soul was never alone. Through pain, so you would reclaim your healing. And even through failure, so you would realize that no external loss could ever touch your eternal essence, the old self. It had to fracture. The old dreams, they had to dissolve, because what's coming alive in you now cannot coexist with the smaller version of who you thought you had to be. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming undeniably yourself. And that version of you does not chase, it attracts. It doesn't beg, it blesses. It doesn't hide, it honors. But this shift is not just spiritual, it's cellular. It's changing how you see the world, how you breathe, how you carry your body, how you hear your own name. You're no longer responding to life from a place of fear. You're moving from a place of knowing. And with that knowing comes responsibility. Not the kind that weighs you down, but the kind that calls you up. Because now, you see, your awakening was never only about you. Your transformation is the activation of hundreds, maybe thousands, of others. Every time you stand in truth, you give others silent permission to do the same. Every time you embody your magic, you loosen the chains around someone else's soul. Your frequency is no longer just yours. It is collective, cosmic, contagious. You've become a transmitter of divine remembering. And this, chosen one, is why your awakening had to be delayed, because the world needed you fully ready, not just empowered, but rooted, not just lit, but anchored in fire. And now that you are, the shift cannot be undone. Yes, some people will fall away. Yes, the old world will call you back. Yes, your former self will whisper doubt. But you are no longer swayed by noise. You are tuned to a different signal now. The divine is not speaking to you. It is speaking through you. You've become the message, the movement, the memory. So what now? Now, you walk it. You walk as the embodied magic the world never expected to see. You walk not for approval, but for alignment. You walk because you are sent to remind the earth what it forgot, that humans can still be sacred, that love can still lead, that power can still serve light, and that magic, true magic, does not belong to fairy tales. It belongs to you.